What written competencies look like in our discipline, particularly in the College of Sciences, our students will be the next future microbiologists, ecologists, climatologists, marine scientists, physicists, and chemists. And in all of these scientific disciplines, written communication is extremely important, from writing research journal articles to communicate research findings, to writing research proposals for funding, and for putting together scientific posters to communicate your work at a conference, for example. So in all of these, written communication competencies are really important. In addition to these more formal scientific writing exercises, many of our students in these particular careers will go on to write for popular science magazines. They might write blogs. They may answer questions from social media. So they have a broad range of audiences and contexts in which they're writing for.
I think from an engineering standpoint, and particularly civil and environmental engineering, I think of the future of our infrastructure, right? And I want our students to go out there and, yeah, design good infrastructure, absolutely, but I want some of them to go out there and communicate these technical ideas to the masses so that people understand how important that is. And that's going to, writing is going to be foundational.
Written competencies are very important because whether you're working in the sciences or not, you need to be able to evaluate, locate, and use the right criteria for the sources in which students will use, or in the professional lives will use, for their written communications. And particularly in the sciences, all of your work builds on other people's work. And you need to be able to evaluate, synthesize, and contextualize that work to find evidence to support your hypotheses or ideas. And all of that is incredibly important to be successful in your particular field.
So I'm a faculty in civil construction and environmental engineering, and when students get out of here, some of their first tasks, one of the most surprising things they'll find is that they're writing a lot more than they may have thought they're going to be writing. And that's just because you have to communicate ideas in all workplaces, and engineers in particular. You're doing something very technical a lot of times, and then you have to turn around and communicate it, sometimes to peers with that skill set, but a lot of times to people who don't have the same backgrounds.
Well, a generally educated NC State student should have proficiency in written communication because when they go forth in their careers, it's really important that they understand that most of the work that we do is interdisciplinary and collaborative, even when you're not in the sciences. And so the ability to communicate across disciplines enables students to be able to foster collaborations and innovations in their own fields.
The opportunity you could have if you do communicate effectively in a written form is that you'll have the opportunity for leadership, greater opportunities for leadership. You'll get to work on important projects if you're the one who can sort of distill the ideas into written form in a way and self-edit, and think of the appropriate form of communication and written communication too. Is this an email? Is this a technical report? What's appropriate? Is this a memorandum that you need to send out?
Our students will often be tasked with these varieties of written communications, and they need to be very clear and concise to transmit a message. And that message may be that it would impact whether a particular piece of legislation gets passed to protect the environment, or whether or not a particular community public health concern is explained in an effective manner so that it impacts human health. So all of our students, when they go on in their professional lives, will be using it on a daily basis to impact change in their community.
I think to me, one of the best things you can do is read a lot and write a lot.
Write a lot. And obviously not just in their classes, but outside of their classes as well. They should actively seek opportunities to write. And that could be a lot of sort of science writing, public science writing. And this could include writing for magazines, blogs. They could write for their on-campus professional society or club. And all of this is just good practice.
A really great way to improve your writing is to get involved in undergraduate research, for example, where you're going to have to summarize what you're doing in a concise way.
Being able to write for a variety of audiences and genres is important to understand how to communicate effectively.
What I like to think of is that we are going to be graduating leaders. We're going to be graduating people that are going on to change the world. And writing is so integral to that,